The reason we chose Williamson Brothers is because we researched a lot of dock builders in the area, and we wanted a dock builder who had been around for a while. We wanted somebody that had longevity, and we wanted somebody that would be able to come back and service if we ever had any kind of needs after that. Not to mention that when we did choose them, they were also the lowest price.
We were very happy with the quality and the construction of the dock. It's a larger dock, so it took a lot of time, a lot of permitting, and we went through a lot of different processes. So we had to be patient, but it was worth it in the end because we are so happy with it and couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I have a construction background, so I was very interested in the construction of the dock as well. So I met with the crew every day. We kind of went over things. They were very good. They were very patient with me because I could be a bit of a pain, but they were awesome to deal with throughout the process. They answered my questions, and we got this dock built. It's a wonderful product.
Yeah, and like he said, if they weren't using a certain screw or something that he thought, they were happy to accommodate any of his requests. So the whole process, as Michael mentioned, started with getting those quotes and those bids. And the people that stood out to us the most were the people who have been here the longest in Cape Coral, as we were newer to the area. So that was important to us. And our salesperson, who was following up and getting back to us with questions and quotes, was extremely important.
Yeah, again, I'm pretty anal when it comes to things like that. So a lot of times I would ask lots of questions to go back and forth with the salesman. The salesman took his time, was very patient with me, answered all my questions. If he didn't know the answer off the top of his head, he would go back to the shop to get the answer. It's working with a vendor to do something like this is very, very important to me to make sure that I'm getting the product that I want overall.
And just to add, it went through permitting for a while, and it went through the Army Corps of Engineers. So we had to be patient on our end because there was only so much you could do once it's in there, but it was well worth it in the end.
Williamson Brothers went through the permitting process. Not only did they go through the permitting process, but they explained to us that the rules had changed. So originally we were only allowed to go 30 feet out from the seawall. As soon as they had learned the rule, they came back to us and said, look, we're allowed to go 40 feet out. Would you be interested in going 40 feet out? I said yes, because it changes the angle of the boats. It gives us more room, more view. The issue is that when it's over 2,000 square feet, it's no longer just the City of Cape Coral's issue. It's actually an Army Corps of Engineers issue. And Williamson Brothers handled that whole process extremely well. They gave us updates as the Army Corps of Engineers going back and forth. And hats off to the Army Corps of Engineers too, because the gentleman Stephen there at the Army Corps of Engineers worked with Williamson Brothers to get this completed for us. We enjoyed the process throughout because the people who were on the crew, who were on site, and the salesmen all worked together with me to kind of make me understand, help me understand what we were building. From anything from like joist spacing to how areas go together to the types of screws they're using. Again, I have a construction background, so it was important to me to understand that this was going to be a good quality dock. This was not a cheap dock, so we wanted to make sure that it had longevity and would stand out and last the test of time. And not just the dock, also the seawall part of it. So they actually came out, they assessed our seawall. I still wasn't happy, so they actually redid the seawall cap under my request, even though they didn't need it. So they did that, they did a fine job, and we were happy with it. Yeah. After Hurricane Ian happened, we saw a lot of docks that were destroyed by the storm. Rightfully said, it was a bad storm. Several docks had lifted out of the water. This dock had a slight lift in it. We contacted the Williamson Brothers. They came out immediately to take care of it. We had a lift that had come off because of the canopy. They replaced the lift to satisfaction. They actually replaced one of the poles, which I didn't even know needed to be replaced, but they replaced it because it was kind of torn at the top. So we've been happy with that. We've been happy with the fact that any little question we have, they'll come back out to immediately address it. So we've always been happy with that.
And just to add on to that, even in our location, just being right off the river, we get surges in the summer that are just normal part of where we live. And so sometimes the dock will be completely covered in water, and we've never had any issues. And that's happened several times, and it's always held up nice and strong.
The owner, Jimmy, of Williamson Brothers actually came out to meet me person to person, man to man, which was really nice because, a large company like Williamson Brothers, you think that they're not in touch with the small person out there doing, getting the stock built. Jimmy came out. I would say we actually have a friendly basis with him now. We call him and we contact him. My wife and he are on social media back and forth with each other several times. Jimmy actually came out. I'm fairly anal. We have a window in the dock that has a crock pole at the bottom, and I set it slightly off. Jimmy personally came out, put a set of scuba tanks on, dove down and moved the ball over until I was happy with where it was. So
yeah, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, that was an awesome feather in his cap. So I would definitely recommend Williamson Brothers. As a matter of fact, our neighbors reached out to Williamson Brothers to build their dock, and they did actually build their dock as well. So I would absolutely recommend them to whoever needs a dock.
Yeah, same here. Anybody who comes here just falls in love with our dock, and we refer them all the time.